What can a person learn right now in 10 minutes that will be useful for the rest of their life? What to do if someone is having a seizure? Try and move nearby furniture if possible so the patient doesn't hurt themselves. Let them get on with it. Once the seizure is over, move them somewhere safe and comfortable at bed if at all possible and keep them warm. Anyone with epilepsy will have done this many times before and an ambulance is not necessary. Save it for someone who needs it. If it is someone's first seizure or you are not sure, dial 999, 112, 911 whatever. If a seizure lasts more than 2 minutes, call the emergency services. If a person has more than one seizure without regaining consciousness, call the emergency services. Never put anything in their mouth, you run the danger of choking them, and never try to restrain them, you will get hurt. I have epilepsy and it scares the life out of me that if I have a seizure on the street people won't know what to do. Another LPT, if you are epileptic or diabetic etc., inform friends, co-workers etc. and tell them what to do in an emergency. For some unknown reason, this is hardly ever taught and layman's first aid don't know about those in the medical profession. To stop caring about others' opinions, or as David Foster Wallace puts it, you will become way less concerned with what other people think of you when you realize how seldom they do. Metacognition, or the awareness and understanding of one's thought processes. In other words, you know when you don't know something, and as a result, you put forth effort to learn it. The fact that you don't actually have to be friends with people you don't like. The 80/20 rule or Pareto principle. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Pareto_principle. Wiki gives a fairly dry version of it, but effectively you use it in life as do the 20% that gets you 80% of what you want. It's important to understand in all aspects of life because perfection is usually worthless. The effort to squeeze the last drops out are simply not worth the juice. You determine where the easy part of something is and do it. Eventually you do more, but focusing on getting that 20% is the first step to major progress. If the act of getting to the gym ends up in you successfully doing some form of exercise that you want to be doing, then focus on getting to the gym. That's the 20%. After you have the routine and space made in your life for getting to the gym, then the rest will follow. It's endlessly effective in helping you for the rest of your life with almost anything. Knowing a simple one-off trick is less important than learning a rule for understanding how to live happily. 2 rules. Assume nothing. Follow up and check. My father taught me these, and I've found that virtually every major frick up in my life can be traced back to ignoring one of them. The proper way to perform CPR. You very well could save someone's life. But the number one rule is to directly command someone to call 911. If you say somebody call 911, everyone will just look around hoping someone else will do it. You need to point to someone and tell them they specifically need to call for help. Put yourself last in a sentence and take your friends' names out. If the sentence still makes sense, you've formatted it correctly. Example. Would you like to go with Joe and I? Take away Joe and the sentence becomes, would you like to go with I? Which sounds stupid, so it should read, would you like to go with Joe and me? Because after taking away Joe again it reads, would you like to go with me? Which is a proper sentence. Too many people think you just replace me with I and call it a day. But it doesn't always work. Conversely, Joe and me went to the store. Take away Joe and the sentence reads, me went to the store. Which once again sounds stupid, so the sentence should read, Joe and I went to the store. Because when you remove Joe once more it reads, I went to the store. Which is a proper sentence. The NATO phonetic alphabet. because spelling out words over a ST line can cause mistakes. Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta Echo Foxtrot Golf Hotel India Juliet Kilo Lima Mike November Oscar Papa Quebec Romeo Sierra Tango Uniform Victor Whiskey X-Ray Yankee Zulu. All I know is Emma's in Mansi. If you bump into an a-hole in the morning, you bumped into an a-hole. If you bump into a-holes all day, you're the a-hole. Or, you work in retail. Edit. Mandatory thanks for the gold. X% of y equals y% of x. If you need to find 3% of 50, you can instead find 50% of 3, which is 1.5. Edit. Formatting. Me. Oh cool, I'll try this. What's 15% of 45? 45% of 15. Fuck. In Excel, select all by using Ctrl+A. I'm sure you all knew. But then when you press the following separately after Alt+H+O+I. Voila, all your columns width are now auto-fitted. Change the I to A for height. How to correctly stab someone with an EP pen. My girlfriend has a peanut allergy and I really would love to live in a world where more people know the correct way to use that instrument. Step 1. Take off the cap, it's blue. This is the side that points away from their body. Step 1. Stroke 2. Make sure you won't hit their phone. Step 2. Stab that shin to their leg, upper outer thigh. Throw any non-super thick pants is fine. Jeans equals fine. Thumb holding the sides. You stab them with the orange side. Step 3. Hold it there for 3 seconds. It used to say 10 seconds. EMT guy in comments says FDA recently changed this to 3 seconds. Step 4. Call 911 EP pens by time not fix the problem entirely. Do not be gentle. Bruises heal. Being gentle often causes a muscle twitch. Their reflex will be to jerk away, and if the needle comes out without giving them the dose, you can't just stab them. Hold their leg from the inside. Otherwise it could cause a large cut that almost always results in a scar associated with unpleasant memories. Also rub the injection site for a few seconds after you remove it from their skin. It will help get it into their bloodstream faster. Also, do not hold it with your thumb over the end, as some EP pens are double-ended. Grab it full fist, with all your fingers curled around the midsection. You do not want an injection directly into a small appendage like your thumb. Seems like a dumb thing to have to explain, but people do weird stuff under stress. If you have computer data that is very important and will probably be a huge hit in the box office because the goddamn series is finally over, then don't store it on one place. Keep at least one backup on a computer that will never see the light of the internet, so if by chance a massive ransomware attack comes by, you don't potentially lose millions of dollars and thousands of hours of work. Edit. Pirates of the Caribbean was not victim of the global ransomware attack. My mistake, but it is being held for ransom. 3, 2, 1 rule. 3 backups in 2 places, at least one off-site. How to recognize a stroke. It could save a life one day. Just remember FAST. Face. Ask them to smile. Is one side of their face drooping? Arms. Ask them to lift both arms. Is one arm drifting downwards? Speech. Ask them to repeat a simple phrase. Is their speech slurred? Time. If you see any of these signs, then get help immediately. A stroke happens when blood is cut off from part of the brain, and symptoms can appear even 24 hours in advance. It is fatal if unattended, so be aware that you should fricking take all of your antibiotics and not fricking skip them because you don't feel like it. This really fricks with antibiotic resistance, yet continuously goes unheeded because a large portion of people feel it's okay to do so. Take 10 minutes and make a recipe list with corresponding groceries. You will save a ton of money on food this week, and actually like the things you're eating. Eventually, it'll become a habit and you'll thank yourself when you're eating food you actually want to eat every day at work and saved a ton of money. Peanut butter, jelly, bread, toaster waffles, frozen corn dogs. Yep, saves me lots of money and I don't even have to buy any pots and pans. Don't frick with someone who has cauliflower ears. But call them whatever you like, they can't hear you because their ears are made of cauliflower. How to say no to another thread on Reddit at 3 AM. Keyboard shortcuts. Control plus Shift plus T reopens a closed tab or window. Total lifesaver. Control plus Shift plus Escape opens a task manager. Winky plus arrows will snap your window to the direction pressed. Winky plus Shift plus left arrow or right arrow will move your window to the next monitor. Basic sewing skills. Running stitch, backstitch and whip stitch, and how to sew on a button. If you're really ambitious and have slightly longer than 10 minutes, how to put in a zipper and how to rehem something. Even if you only learn a few basics, you can fix most quick clothing issues. There's nothing worse than a button popping off of your only clean shirt when you're in a rush and have no way of fixing it. Also, LPT4 once you've got your skills in place, keep a few needles threaded with a few inches of black and white thread and any other color you wear often so that when you find a small busted seam or a button has popped off, you don't have to try and thread a needle in a rush to fix it. Edit. For anyone curious. Running stitch, shown here for embroidery but technique applies anywhere. Backstitch, again, shown for embroidery, but applicable anywhere. Whip stitch, shown for hemming but technique can be used to join any two pieces of fabric together in any orientation. This isn't the best tutorial I could find, but most of them that popped up immediately were about joining knit crochet pieces. Technique is applicable but they talk about counting your stitches and blah blah. Things that don't apply to regular fabric. How to sew a button, pretty self-explanatory. As a bonus, even shows you how to thread a needle and tie a knot at the end. Total length of videos linked, including intros, outros, etc. 709. One time my fiance lost a button on his suit coat and asked if I could reattach it. I said sure and got a needle and thread. He was amazed that I didn't use a sewing machine. Like, what honey? Edit. I get that some buttons can be sewn on by machine. This one couldn't. And it was on a suit jacket. And I'm not dragging out and setting up a sewing machine to do a button. Clicking a link with your scroll wheel will open it in a new background tab. Welcome to the world of having 50 plus tabs opened at any time. The quick way to convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius. Subtract 30 and half it, or for Celsius to Fahrenheit, double it and add 30. It's not absolutely precise, but it gets you to within a degree or two and makes life easier when looking at weather forecasts and recipes etc in other countries, or when talking to my mother about the temperature. When screwing the left pedal onto a bicycle, the thread is reversed. So left is tighter and right is looser. I worked at a bike shop over the summer. A few times people came in saying they couldn't get the left pedal off no matter how hard they twisted. They were making it tighter. Lefty tighty, right loosey. Corny as hell, but learning to say no. Some people find it almost impossible to say that tiny word. There are a bunch of YouTube videos on it. Seriously, saying no sometimes in your life will make it a lot easier. Here's the real answer to the OP. How to unclog a toilet using an expedient bucket flush. Situation. You have just taken a dump at someone else's place and due to either the sheer volume of crap or using too much TP, you've clogged the toilet when attempting to flush. There is no plunger in sight. You don't want to risk a second flush overflow and make a bad situation worse. Mission: unclog the toilet and leave the bathroom with honor. Execution: look around for the small trash can, take out the garbage liner, if present. If not already on, turn on exhaust fan. Fill the can with water from the bathtub faucet. Open faucet discreetly as to minimize noise. In one continuous and a smooth pour, direct the water toward the whole of the toilet. The steady downpour will break up and push the clog and begin the siphon effect. The toilet will flush, but will leave a measly quantity of water. Flush the toilets to get rid of any stragglers. Replace can liner in can. Ensure shower curtain goes back to original position. Wash hands, turn off exhaust fan and walk out with confidence. Administration and logistics. The small garbage can is the most obvious choice, but may not be available. Be resourceful and look for any containers of opportunity. Females tend to keep containers under the vanity. Command and signal. After proper execution, ensure no trace of the technique is present. This means no drips of water, displaced containers or disturbed surroundings. A professional leaves no traces. Obfuscate questions about the running tub. If challenged, ask the inquisitor if she was listening to you. That will end the conversation. Go ahead and try it. You're welcome. Survivorship bias. The key example is every time you hear about Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg dropping out of college and becoming billionaire, so it should make sense for people to drop out of college and found their tech startup. That's a horrible idea. To understand, back in World War II, they were trying to figure out where planes should be reinforced, so they marked on a diagram where all the bullet holes were on the planes that returned safely from missions. The initial thought was to reinforce the places where the holes were until somebody pointed out that those holes were in the planes that made it back safely. Planes with holes in the other areas that were not marked on the diagram did not return safely, so they should reinforce those areas instead. TLDR, when if I ever win the lottery, I'll be like an XKCD comic and tell everybody to keep buying lottery tickets and never give up on their hope, because if I did it, they can, too. This applies to music too. When people watch Guardians of the Galaxy and moan about how the 70s had much better music, they don't realize that only the good stuff has survived till now. The shitty, repetitive tunes have been forgotten and filtered out through time. When doing CPR you should do chest compressions to the beat from Staying Alive. Most people don't realize that effective CPR is a two-person job and the chest part actually involves compressing this fast often. Edit. Tons of people are complaining about this not being enough. Technically it's not, but it's better than someone having no idea how to do CPR at all. In short, Staying Alive has about 104 BPM, so it's slightly below the medically recommended 2 compressions per second. However, it also provided and trained novices with an easily recognized beat to work from. I would rather someone with no CPR training compress my chest while humming Staying Alive to themselves than doing 1 compression a second and cutting my chances of survival in half. This is not a substitute for proper CPR training, don't think otherwise, but this is a good thing you can learn in 20 seconds that helps people be leaps and bounds better at CPR than knowing absolutely nothing at all about it. Before I heard this information I thought you should do about 1 compression per second, as my last CPR class was like 2 decades ago, and not very thorough. Now at least I know enough to give someone a fighting chance. At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Fat loss is at least 80% diet. In any negotiation, make your point and shut up. This is true with a Craigslist sale, and it's true in a political discussion. I need 20 for the guitar, or I think X stance correct because Y. When you keep talking to reinforce your position you usually provide weaker points that are easier to refute, and effectively weaken your position. How to tie a tie. Applies both for those who have to wear them and those who can help tie one for someone else. If you ever wanted to paste any text from a website or a document in another one without having the text being formatted with its original font size, color and style, use Ctrl+Shift+V instead of Ctrl+V. This saves lives. How to properly breathe. Normally we take shallow breaths into our chest. However, if we actually take just 10 minutes out of every day to focus on our breath and breathe down into our abdomen, we will actually begin to relax and feel so much nicer. Suddenly things like meditation become easier, you become more aware of the here and now, emotions are much more available to deal with and process, among many physical benefits. All just building on the simple act of breathing properly. Edit. Thank you so much for the gold. I'm also glad what I wrote helped out a few people at least. Manual breathing mode activated. The basic structure of your nation's political system. It is amazing how few people can give even an Li-Fi version of how ideas become laws, or who the top boss of their policeman is, or what are all the decisions they as a voter actually get to vote on. Wikipedia. Politics of country. Off you trot. It'll be a little dry, but you are now an adult. This schmatters. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. This shoelace knot. https://www.vegan.com/shoelace/secured knot.htm. There's also the fast knot on that page, which is a quicker way to tie a normal shoelace knot, but that one above I use exclusively anymore. Your shoes will never come untied again. Until you untie them. You guys have just provided BuzzFeed with like 3 years worth of headlines. Standard tuning on guitar can be remembered as E every, A acid, D dealer, G gets, B busted, E eventually. Had a friend teach me that 20 plus years ago, I remember still. Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye Eddie. The Heimlich maneuver. I have created a maneuver Dr. Heimlich. How to change a tire. Google more effectively. How to recognize pseudoscience at a basic level. Basically, anything that ignores data not supporting the hypothesis, only works with low response rates, draws false equivalencies, or is not generalized to anything or anyone. Everyone has a reason for something. Figure out their angle. Lies, truths, excuses, actions. Always keep looking for the reasons and then you will learn to judge people better. Doing these two things will immediately improve the quality of your life. Don't take things personally. Assume the best in people. Simple, yet so challenging. Never attribute to malice that which can be adequately explained by stupidity. Salting your pasta while boiling them results in delicious pasta, which brings out the flavor of whatever sauce you're going to use on them. Edit. Thanks for making this my highest rated comment by a long shot and exceeding the 10k cumulative mark. Are there people not salting their pasta? Edit. One more thing, try putting the pasta in your pan with the sauce. It mixes the sauce better and stops the pasta from sticking. How to escape zip ties. https://content.artoffmanlinus.com/uploads/2001/03/zip-ties-900-2.jpg. Good if you're ever in a riot where the police just slap zip ties on everyone and you feel like defying them. Edit. Now you can't break out of riot cuffs anyway, so good if you're kidnapped by someone on a budget. The long chain is for the light, the short chain is for the fan. So remember this in long light, short spin. And in the middle of the night when you want to turn the fan on, they both turn the light on. Fascinating. Righty tighty lefty loosey. Unless you are screwing the left pedal of a bicycle. This will get buried, but my dad taught me 2 career-related life rules that are in my head every day. Every job and workplace will have bullshit and workplace politics. You need to find an office with the bullshit you can live with. Figure out the budget you can live on. Factor in 1 or 2 reasonable entertainment expenses a week or pay period, and put the rest in a savings account, preferably one that's a bit difficult to access. Every raise and bonus goes directly into that account too. You don't need more money when you're already paying your bills with some extra, so put it away for big ticket items like a down payment on a house. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment.